The Type 209 class is commercially the most successful submarine in the last 50 years. Thanks to its flexible design, which can answer the individual requirements of each customer, 14 navies have preferred the submarine. Many countries have learned how to build the modern submarine with the Type 209 class. Now, we are investigating the Type 209 class and its 5 subclasses. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel before we start and give us a thumbs up if you like our video. To be notified of our new video, please click the bell button. Also, now you can click the join button to support our channel. Today, no one can plan a naval operation on many major waterways without taking the Type 209 class into account. These submarines are patrolling around the Korean Peninsula, Malacca Strait and Eastern Mediterranean, which are some of the hottest spots in the world. They are the main underwater combat force of South America. The Type 209 class is the only submarine in the sub-Saharan Africa. To better understand this achievement, let's take a look at the history first. Since the First World War, Germany has been one of the countries that invested in submarines the most, because it had to. Yes, before the Great War, the German Empire had tried to build up a surface fleet which could compete with the mighty Royal Navy. But building a vast number of dreadnoughts was not enough. The Brits knew how to fight on the seas better than the Germans. After the Battle of Jutland, the Kaiserliche Marine had to accept this fact and it decided to fight underwater. So, the U-boat legend began. During the Second World War, the main naval warfare element of Germany was submarines. The challenging conditions of the Battle of Atlantic sharpened the German submarine design capabilities. The Type 21 class was far superior to its counterparts in the world, but it was too late. Although it was never used in combat, the Type 21 class was a huge success, because it changed the submarine designs. After the Second World War, even the Allies adopted them for military and experimental purposes. After a long silence, in the 1960s, the German U-boats began to shine again. After the Second World War, the USA had many surplus submarines, so the countries with good relations with Washington could have the Guppy-class submarines. Also, the USSR began to build a tremendous amount of new submarines just after the Second World War. So, the countries with good relations with Moscow could find a new submarine easily. So, until the late 1960s, the international market for the submarines had been unprofitable. But now, many countries needed to replace their obsolete underwater fleets. This situation was most beneficial for Germany. As the major Western naval powers, France, the UK and the USA had focused on nuclear submarines. Their main operational areas were the oceans. However, due to its geographical conditions, Germany was still focusing on the coastal diesel-electric submarines. Also, France, the UK and the USA had big navies. They were creating a big market for their national shipbuilding companies. This made them less aggressive in the international market. On the contrary, Germany had a big shipbuilding capability, but its navy was comparatively small. So, German shipyards had to be more aggressive in the international market to survive. Under these circumstances, the German Ingenieur Conteur Lübeck designed the Type 209 class for export purposes. It was based on the Type 209 class of the German Navy. The reason why Germany did not prefer marketing the Type 209 class was because it was too small and effective only in shallow waters. But the world needed a submarine which could be effective in both coastal and open waters. Also, a bigger platform could be configured more easily to answer the customer demands. The hull design was offering good surface and submerged seakeeping capabilities as well as a low acoustic signature. The Type 209 class could reach a range of 740 kilometers, in other words 400 nautical miles, between two snorting periods. The single pressured hull was made of HY80 steel, which can be detected by anti-submarine warfare aircraft fitted with MAD sensors. There was an option available to construct the Type 209 of non-magnetic steel, but as far as we know, no export customers have preferred this option. The submarine's forward and aft trim tanks were making the dive and surface maneuvers easy. It was fitted with a snorkel and remote machinery control. Greece became the first customer of the first variant of the submarine, the Type 209-1100. The first boat of this class, HS Glavkos, was laid down in 1968, launched in 1970, and commissioned in 1971. The Hellenic Navy had ordered 4 Type 209-1100 classes, which is also known as Glavkos-class. But while 3 were completed as the Type 209-1100, HS Triton was completed as Type 209-1200. Some sources claim that Peru acquired 2 Type 209-1100 class submarines. But according to Janes, all 6 boats of the Peruvian Navy are the Type 209-1200 class. Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Egypt, Greece, India, Indonesia, Peru, South Africa, South Korea, Turkey, and Venezuela are the users of the Type 209 class. The complement of the Glavkos class is 31 person. The submarine has a length of 54.4 meters, a beam of 6.2 meters, and a draught of 5.5 meters. Its surface displacement is 1,100 tons, while its submerged displacement is 1,210 tons. The propulsion system consists of 4 2,400 horsepower MTU-12V 493AZ-80 diesel engines and 1 4,600 horsepower Siemens electric engine. Its maximum surface speed is 11 knots, while its maximum submerged speed is 21.5 knots. The Glavkos class can reach a range of 18,500 kilometers, in other words 9,990 nautical miles, at a speed of 10 knots. It has 8 533mm torpedo tubes, and it can launch the SUT torpedoes. Between 1993 and 1997, all Glavkos-class submarines were modernized, and they have gained the capability of launching the UGM-84 sub-harpoon anti-ship missiles. Different from the previous variant, the Type 209-1200 class has trim tanks at the bottom that keep the submarine at near zero speed by making that precise trim adjustment. As we mentioned before, HS Triton was completed as the Type 209-1200. This boat was commissioned in 1972. Also, Greece acquired 4 additional submarines of this class called Poseidon-class. The first boat of this class, HS Poseidon, was commissioned in 1979. Greece decided to modernize its Type 209-1200s under the Neptune II program. However, only HS Okanaos was modernized due to economic difficulties. An air-independent propulsion system is integrated into the submarine, which extended the submarine by 6.5 meters. Argentina commissioned 2 Type 209-1200 class submarines, also called Salta-class, in 1974. Argentina assembled them, but components were manufactured in Germany. However, due to technical and economic difficulties, this study was not successful as desired. Only ARA Salta is operational, but she is used for dockside training only. ARA San Luis was decommissioned in 1997. Between 1974 and 1983, the Peruvian Navy commissioned 6 Type 209-1200s, defined as the Cosma-class first, and the Angamos-class later. Today, these submarines are modernized with the ability to launch the UGM-84 sub-harpoon missiles. The Colombian Navy has 2 Type 209-1200s and defines them as Pijao-class. Turkey ordered 6 Type 209-1200s in 1974 and began to build these submarines in its own naval shipyards after the first 3. The Turkish Navy defines them as I-class. In 2011, the Turkish Navy decided to modernize the TCG Doğanay and TCG Dolunay of this class. The submarines are being equipped with the locally developed electronic support measure systems. TCG Saldıray and TCG Atılay of this class were decommissioned in 2014 and 2016 respectively. The final customer of the Type 209-1200 class is South Korea. The Republic of Korea Navy has a total of 9 submarines, and it defines them as Chang Bogo-class under the KSS-1 program. The first boat was built in Germany, while the remaining boats were built in South Korea. They can launch the sub-harpoon missiles. South Korea is working on lithium-ion battery power stacks for the submarines. Indonesia also acquired 3 Chang Bogo-class submarines, and it defines them as Nagapasa-class. The submerged displacement of the Poseidon and Pijao classes is 1,285 tons. The Angamos-class is 1,290 tons. The I-class is 1,185 tons. The Salta-class is 1,440 tons. A standard Type 209-1200 is 55.9 meters long. But the I-class has a length of 61.2 meters. After modernization, the Chang Bogo-class has a length of 61 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,400 tons. The first Type 209-1300 class was commissioned by Venezuela. The Bolivarian Navy of Venezuela defines them as Sábalo-class. Although it was originally planned to be 4, only 2 were built due to economic difficulties. The Sábalo-class has a length of 61.2 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,600 tons. 2 Ecuadorian Type 209-1300s, also known as Shyri-class, were commissioned in 1977 and 1978. They have a length of 59.5 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,390 tons. Indonesia defines its 2 Type 209-1300 class submarines as Cakra-class. On April 21, 2021, KRA Nanggala of this class disappeared during a torpedo drill. Her wreckage was found 3 days later. Chile, the last user of this variant, commissioned its 2 submarines in 1984 as the Thomson-class. Unlike the other Type 209-1300s, the masts of the Chilean submarines are 0.5 meters longer due to the extremely wavy nature of the region. The Cakra and Thomson classes have the same dimensions and submerged displacement as the Shyri-class. Brazil is the first customer of the Type 209-1400 variant. The Brazilian Navy defines them as Tupi-class and has 5 of them. The first submarine was built in Germany and the other 4 in Brazil. Different from the first 4 boats, the last submarine, Ticuna, has a different nose that reduces acoustic signature and a longer submerged range. The Tupi-class has a length of 61 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,440 tons. The Turkish Navy has 8 Type 209-1400s. All of the submarines were built in Turkey. The first 4 are defined as Preveze-class, while the last 4 as the Gür-class. The main differences between them are the torpedoes and electronic systems. The Preveze and Gür classes have a length of 62 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,586 tons. Egypt and South Africa also preferred the Type 209-1400 variant. South Africa defines its 3 submarines as Heroine-class. The Portuguese U-209 PN-class submarines are actually the Type 214 class. Initially, India had planned to acquire 6 Type 209-1500 class submarines, defined as Shishumar-class. The first 2 would be built in Germany and the last 4 in India. However, due to major technical problems, the program was terminated after a total of 4 boats were built. The Shishumar-class has a length of 64.4 meters and a submerged displacement of 1,850 tons. These submarines are equipped with the Gabler integrated escape sphere for the full crew. All Type 209 variants can be operated for 50 days without replenishment. While the Shishumar-class can dive to a depth of 260 meters, in other words 850 feet, the other variants can dive to 250 meters, which is 820 feet. The Type 209 users have preferred different electronics, engines and torpedoes due to their own operational requirements. Argentina is the only country to use these submarines in combat. During the 1982 Falklands War, ARA San Luis served for 36 days. She was one of the main concerns of the Royal Navy. During the war, ARA San Luis sent her torpedoes on HMS Brilliant, HMS Yarmouth, HMS Alacrity, and HMS Arrow frigates, as well as to an unknown nuclear submarine. But due to fire control computer failure, all attempts were fruitless. Even though it has not proved itself in a real war, the commercial success of the Type 209 class is unmatched. Next September, the submarine will complete its 50th year at sea. Considering that Egypt and Indonesia have commissioned new Type 209s this year, it would be no surprise that we will see them on active duty in the next 50 years. This undoubtedly makes the Type 209 class a true legend. Thanks for watching our video. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if you liked our video. To be notified of our new videos, please click the bell button. Also, you can now click the join button to support our channel.